Hello, my name is Jerry Jacobs Jr. of CatholicAlpha.com, where my main mission is to keep you out of divorce court. So, let's do this. Have you ever wanted to know if you're really measuring up as a man? I mean, really. Have you ever considered whether or not you're on track with what God would have you be as a man in your marriage and in your life? I know it's hard being a man out here. It's tough. I know I'm there, been there for 50 something years. But these days and back then when I grew up and a lot of other men grew up, especially today, no one teaches us how to be a man. Why? Well, mainly because their fathers didn't know how to be. And also when you pull God out of everything, no one has morality. Everybody does what they feel, what they think. But that's not what I want from you. Um, in my teens and 20s and 30s, I thought I knew, just like everybody else out there. I got married at 19, and I've had two marriages. I got married at 19, and I thought being a man was, having sex, having pleasure, going out and trying to make as much money as I can, and that's what I tried to do. I tried to, I had sex before I was married. I used women up. I wasn't the best man. I thought because that's what everybody else was doing, and that's not an excuse. But when that's the examples that we have, what are we supposed to do? And so then, with my first wife, when she got sick and died of leukemia, and my boys were left with me, things got real dire. And that's how it is. And then when things like that happen in your life, you realize you need God, and you start to have reflection. When your wife dies at 35 years old, it was terrible. It still is. So then after that, my wife was gone. What did I do again? I did again. I lived with my first wife before we got married. I lived with my second wife before we got married. Sure, it worked out, but do you know how many demons that I had to overcome, that we had to overcome in our marriages to get past all the crazy sin and bad things we did before? And that's not being a man. Being a man is not having sex with a woman and then leaving her, or living with her and then using up all her youth and vitality and her beauty, and then you decide you don't want her no more and then leave. But so today, what we need to do is, this is the solution. So I'm gonna ask you, what is the solution? I mean, what is the solution? The solution is we've got to start as men. We've got to start standing up again. We've got to start being the best moral examples of ourselves for our boys. Mainly for our boys, because they don't know what to do. And so they're going to go out and do everything we did. My boys do what I do. Your boy's going to do what you do. If you don't have a boy, you have a daughter. Your daughter's going to do what her mother does and what you do. That's what kids do. And if we as men don't adopt the moral law, which is the natural law, which is the 10 Commandments, we'll never be happy. Never. When you break the natural law, which is the 10 Commandments, the moral law, your life becomes horrible. And so that's what I'm trying. That's why I got into this. I want us as men to understand our roles and mission. And that's what the man quiz is about. It's about you assessing, are you really being the man that God is calling you to be? Not what society would have you be, but what God would have you be. Why? Because he's the author of the natural law. He's the author of what's written on your heart. And when we go against that, man, it never works out. Think about it. Every time you go against the 10 Commandments or the law of God, like sleeping with another woman, or when you're married, or sleeping with a girl, living with her, or stealing, or just whatever you do, that's not morally correct, what happens? It never works out. And you're not happy and you're miserable. So, this is what true happiness is. Men, we have to learn that we have to sacrifice ourselves, our wants, our pleasures, our desires for that of another. Until we do that, we'll never be happy. We never won't. And in this example, sacrifice your wants, pleasures, desires for your marriage, for God, for your wife, for your children, for society. And that's another thing that we don't understand. In society, our job as men is to be the best moral examples of ourselves, man. That's why one of the reasons why it's not correct to be a homosexual, or why it's not right to be to mess around on your wife, or why it's not you need to beat your kids until they're bleeding. I mean, that's why right to rape somebody or murder somebody, because those aren't the best moral examples of men. Those are not what things that great men do. All right? And it's not dissing anybody or trying to tell somebody what to do, man. It's just a fact, dude. It's just a fact. Um, so, and in this, so until we do, and until we as men do this, guess what's gonna happen? No respect, no honor, no courage, no loyalty, and no direction in our lives. In fact, women will continue to rebel against us until we man up as God directs and become the best moral examples of ourselves. Okay? So, that's it for today. Take the marriage quiz. Take the man quiz to see if you measure up as a man. If you're on track to becoming the man God created you to be, and that's what this is about. You becoming holy. You becoming the man God created you to be. Not a derelict. Okay? So, click that start button below. Take the man quiz and remember to share it once you're done. And have fun and learn something about the faith. Bam! So as we end, as I always do, we're going to end with the words of Pope Benedict XVI. Society offers you comfort. Quote, society offers you comfort, but you weren't made for comfort. You were made for greatness. So go forth, Christian soldier. The spiritual fight is upon you. Fast, pray, and prepare for battle.